Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and a little card tutorial which I've been asked to do. Now, if you're a part of Paper Crafting with Paul, which is my Facebook group, you will see that it has been overtaken by those floating Hexagon cards, which I shared with you a few weeks back, and you really have loved them. So I did get asked, what about different shaped ones? So here I am with another version of it. So it's my Hexagon floating 6x6 card. So this will fit into a 6x6 envelope. So it's a square one. I've used the brand new Technically Speaking kit from Knitwear Collections, which is full of PC technology, sort of imagery and paper, and the colours are lush. Really liking this. I'm actually started using it in work as well. So this is my 6x6 version. Now, just a little pre-warning. Halfway through the video, I did realise I'd made a mistake and I cut my base at 5 3/4 wide, which was correct because I do like to make it a little bit smaller so I can fit it into the envelope. But I cut it at 6 inches tall. So when you come to do it, when you see me cut this base, make sure you do it 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, not like I've done. So this is the square version that I've been asked for by you in Paper Crafting with Paul. So if you haven't already joined, have a look in the description below. There'll be a link to my Facebook group, or just type in Facebook Paper Crafting with Paul and it'll take you to it. Just a couple of questions to answer for all those extra inspirations. And like I said, also have a look for the Technically Speaking kit linked below as well, because it really is fantastic and I can see lots and lots of mail cards, grown-ups, children, lots of things being useful here. So thank you for watching this quick intro and let's get crafting. So to start with, I've got a piece of cardstock. This is a 220 GSM white cardstock. It's the Creative Expression Foundation cardstock. So I'm going to cut a base first of all. Now, when I make my 6-inch cards, I actually tend to make them a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 rather than 6 inches, because I find 6-inch envelopes quite tight to get my cards in, especially if I'm going to do something like this with a bit of dimension. So I'm just going to make it a little bit small. So I'm going to do it 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So that is the base of my card. And then I need the 2 struts. So I'm going to cut the other piece now at 6 3/4. So that's the length I need. And I'm going to make mine 1.5 inches tall. You could make them thinner, you can make them wider. So, card base, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 struts, 6 3/4 by 1.5. So I said you could make it longer, but I find the ratio seems to have worked nicely for me. I haven't stuck that bit down yet because I'll be decorating it first, but this is my little mock-up, my little test run of it. So it allowed enough of a gap in the middle for you to see through to the back. So any smaller, it might get a little bit flimsy depending on how thick your card is, and any wider, and the gap in between is going to be so small you're not going to see what's on the back of your cardstock. So let's grab our scoreboard. So I'm going to start off with my card base. So the card base, I'm going to score at 1.5. So it doesn't matter which way you put it in because it's a square. And then I'm going to rotate it and do 1.5 again. And then with my struts, both of these are going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. So obviously I put the long bit along the top. 1/2 inch, 2.5, 4¼ and 6¼ so that just leaves me that little 1/2 inch on the end there for my tape as well. So one more time. So we start off at 1/2 inch, 2½, 4¼ and 6¼ So here we have our 2 struts and our base card. So with our base card, we've got 2 score lines. Both of these are going to be a valley, which means they're going to go downwards, like so. So it's like a valley going away from us. And I'm just going to burnish them. I don't need to burnish them hard because they're not going to be flat like so. They are going to be like wings like that. Then with my struts, I'm just going to take some double-sided tape. So nice strong double-sided tape. I'm using Cool Cats Crafts tiger tape. Not tiger tape, that's the black one. They're sticky paws. So this is kind of like the strength of a red liner tape, but there's no static plastic on the back of it, and you can just tear it as well. So you don't have to use your scissors and gunk up your scissors. You can just use your finger, it just rips off. And so I just find that so quick and so strong. So yeah, thoroughly recommend that tape if you're a card maker who likes making fancy folds and things, because it does stay nice and strong. Now all of these score lines are going to be mounting folds. So I'm going to fold them up, fold them up, fold them up, and fold it up. And I do need to burnish these, so I'm going to just gently burnish. No need to do it hard, again, just a gentle little burnish will do. So you've got the bow going towards us here, and the bow going away from us here. So when they come together, they'll make our hexagon. So let's do the other one as well. So we're going to burnish, 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 and then the one with the tape, burnish. Okay. So I put the tape, you saw, facing me because they will go behind when we attach it to the card. There we go. So we've got our 2 struts and we've got our base. So we're going to attach. So I'm going to take the tape off just one side for now. And I find it easier if I bring my card sideways. So my score lines are going across now. So I can line it all up and I can see this corner and I can look at this corner then close to me. So I can keep an eye on it. There we go. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So this time I'm going to line up to this corner. So I'm lining the base, because it's the base of my card, down. And I'm going to attach it to that corner. There we go. So you can stick this down now, but I find it easier to do it afterwards, so we can just decorate these 2 panels and then do that afterwards. Now, the one thing that's different for me this time to my rectangular 5x7 ones is I did put a piece of acetate in this one in the other video. So have a look in the description below. You'll find a video for that. You're going to see me do it. But it is going to be, I haven't got a ruler on. If you cut it at 1 3/4 by 5 3/4, you can then attach a piece of acetate between these 2 score lines and between these score lines, and you can attach it there. So if you want your elements floating more so than they're going to be now, you can do that. You can add the piece of acetate here. So how are we going to decorate it then? Well, I'm going to measure all these rectangles I'm going to see, and I'm going to make them 1/4 of an inch smaller. So let's have a look. I've got my, technically speaking, the new Knitwit collection. And you can see it's really cool. I've layered some of the solids with one of the patterned papers, the wordings. Those of you who follow me know I love word papers. And then I've just layered some of the cogs on top digitally. But look at the details. Ooh, can I get it? It's a small piece, but so much detail. Even the little shadows on the cogs. So this will go there. And I've actually got 2 of them. Here we go. So these are 5.5 tall, the panels. So 5.5 by 1.25, I want to say. Yeah, 1.25. So 1.25 by 5.5. Let's just double check. Yeah, 5.5. And then this is the center panel, which is going to be 5.5 by 2.5. So if you haven't made your panels to fit, then what you can do is just cut some decorative paper and then cut out the outside and then put, use your coloured cardstock and then decorative paper on top. So I'm just going to glue them in place. I think I've cut my base panel the wrong size, have I? Yes, I've cut it at 6 inches. Did you see me do that earlier? Never mind. That's all it means. I've got a bit more space top and bottom. That should have been a 5.75 inch square. Luckily, I had my 5.75 along the top, so it worked. Oh, well, one little disaster. It wouldn't be one of my videos without a little mishap. Did you spot me cutting it 6 inches rather than 5.75? I was thinking my panels and I was measuring them and they were all correct. So, not the end of the world. Just make sure my text is the correct way up. Or, it is the end of the world. I've glued that one down. I need to stick this down. This is meant to be an easy card. I'm going to bring this now. I've taken the tape off and I'm going to bring it over. And bring this one over. Oh well, it's a warts and all video tonight. There we go. Right. Now I can glue this panel on. I even said just now, wasn't I? I'm going to glue the left and the middle one on. Right. There we go. So I'm just sliding it in now and moving it into position. Right. Thoroughly recommend glue for this bit so you can move it around. There we go. So that is the back panel. Bear in mind yours will be 5.75 tall, not 6 inches. So now we're going to decorate the fronts. So these panels here are 2 inches. So it's going to be 1/4 inch less, 1.75. It was 1.5 tall, so 1.25. And here we go. So this time I've gone for little monitors and PC towers. And we've got 4 of these, so there's 1 in each corner. Here we go. Just 2 more to go. So again, I've matted and laid these digitally, so it's quite flat. So I've got the orange layer and then the patterned paper layer. So if you haven't got the skills or you're not confident or you're using a printed kit, it's just a case of using your cardstock or your paper and then your decorative paper on top. You can still get the same effect. And then the last pieces here are 1.75 across. So I'm going to cut these at 1.5. Make sure my monitors and things are the right way up. Yeah. Oh, and they're 1.25 tall, the same as the side ones. I think you probably could have worked that out. So here we go. There we go. So you can see that's how your hexagon or your floating hexagon card ends up standing, but also folding flat to go into the envelope. So nice, fun, easy one. And, you know, you could just leave it there, but it is a floating one. So what I've done here is taken the PC tower, which is one of the images in the technically speaking kit, then one of the sentiments, which is a square one, and just angled it to the side and added some headphones and the games console handset. And I've made it just big enough so it's going to bridge just the top. So, and to make this sure I don't have the glue everywhere, I'm going to place it down, but upside down. And I know as long as I don't go above that, I'm going to be fine. Ooh, or either side of the score lines. So we've got to keep it inside this bit here. Right, I wish I'd printed this a little bit bigger now. Never mind. So I've made the bridge like so. And I've also printed a couple of USB sticks as well and cut those out so we can have a little bit more detail. So I'm just going to glue on the bottom so that when I tuck them in here and here, they will then pop out at an angle, just adding a bit more interest. So you can keep on going there. You could even add a thread behind these down there and stick things hanging. There are so many ways of doing this, and you lot have really taken to this card paste, the 5x7 one, because there have been a lot, and I mean a lot, shared in my Facebook group. So if you haven't joined already, join Paper Crafting with Paul on Facebook, link below. You will honestly find a ton of inspiration for these floating hexagon cards in the 5x7. So hopefully now you will also see some 6x6 squares or 5 3/4 like I do it. So thank you for watching. As I said, if you haven't joined, join that group, and please leave a comment and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. So thank you for watching. Head off and have a look what else is in the Technically Speaking kit, and I'll see you all again very soon.